What's up, boys? Thanks for coming to the podcast.
What's up, brother? Thanks for having us, my man.
You know what? I'm racking up my first times over here. I'll tell you that. Like, I love being everyone's first time. Don't worry, I'll be nice to you boys. I'll take it easy.
I appreciate it.
I'll show you a few steps. Remember, it's a podcast, so you can ask questions going back and forth, not an interview. So that's what's so funny. You're just like everyone else. Hey, what's the direction? What are we doing? I have no clue.
I like
what's
it.
The pre-question?
I like it. I don't know
what's
either.
the pre-question podcast? I have no idea what I'm gonna ask and where the direction. One time we were going down we've had hippies on here. We've had like spiritual people. We had doctors. We've had who knows how the people I talk.
Yeah.
How people want to talk to me? I have no idea. So why don't you tell everyone who you are?
Yeah, no, perfect. You want to start them out?
Yeah, so we're obviously Veirs Kluk Roofing. Our company was founded in 1949 by my grandfather, Edmund Kluk, and he started in the roofing industry working for a company called Rigid, and Rigid was out of LA, and he was a salesman, and he eventually got tired of making a commute to LA, so he, got over here to Riverside where he was living. He was in the war and met his
Was
wife.
he at March Air Force Base? Was he based out there or no?
No, he got shipped to Toro.
Okay.
So he got shipped to Toro Air Force Base. That's where he met my grandma. She was a nurse. So they met there. She was taking care of him. He was injured, and so then they came over here to Riverside, and then he was working for Rigid Roofing as a salesman. And like I said, just got tired of making a commute to LA like everybody else. I don't know how people do it.
I live in Rancho now, and like 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's where he's at.
I used to live 3 blocks from here, and now I have to commute into work.
How'd you do that to yourself?
Women.
Oh, no.
Yeah, a girl.
But honestly, it's not bad. I commute. I've been commuting for a long time, and it's like you drink coffee.
It's all about picking the hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I drink my coffee in the morning on the way in. It gives you a little time to process or think about what needs to happen and plan, and so it's not a horrible thing. But so 1949, my grandpa starts Kluk Roofing. Works there, obviously has his business. My dad, who's been in the roofing industry for 52 years, he'll be 70 this year, and still coming into the office, still wants to work, grind, and he says that's all I know.
He can't let it go. No. He can't let it go. He won't.
No.
So
he's the man in the area, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's done a lot of business here in Riverside.
Riverside's such a small town, but such a big town at the same time.
You're right.
It's literally like, it's so crazy how everyone knows everyone, but we don't realize how many people live here and how many zip code, like people always, just dominate a zip code. I'm like, big 92509 and 92508, 92506 are, they're massive. They're
go dominate
blocks.
that.
Yeah, go dominate 8,000 houses,
Yeah, so I'm one of 5 kids. We have a big family. Everybody, for the most part, has heard of us in some way, shape, or form. And, you hear a lot of the big names in Riverside. And so, I know them. But, so my dad graduates high school and wants to go to work. He's dating my mom, his high school sweetheart. And my mom tells my dad, well, go see Dad. He's at the roofing company, So my dad heads over to Kluk Roofing and gets a job working on the roof in 1971. So
never left.
What
made you get into roofing?
So my dad had a stroke in 2020, and we were in the process of kind of figuring out what we were going to do with the business. I was a paramedic and opened my own business in Riverside.
Were you working at AMR, or were you working at?
Yeah, I worked at AMR, and just again wasn't happy with work and got tired of it. 24-hour shifts, and so I started a business here in Riverside back in 2010, and then we were figuring out the whole roofing thing and what to do, and we're like, well, the company's old. It's been here for a long, long time, and do we sell it? What do we do with it? So my thought, and family and Chad, and was like, well, let's not just let this business go.
Walk away from it,
You can't let a family business that old just go down if you can.
You put so many years into it.
Yeah,
why walk
that's a lot of blood and sweat
into
something. So
all the sweat that my dad and every mom and everybody put into the business. So we wanted to keep it rolling. So that's where I kind of stepped in.
That's where you jumped in.
Jumped in and you know, I could just tell my dad wasn't happy with what direction that we were possibly thinking to go with the business. And he's all, this is all I've done. This is all I know, you know. So, but, he, you know, I said he's a workhorse. I mean, that's all he wants to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to stay home.
Exactly. That's his purpose.
No, what do I
stay home, you die.
Yeah. 100%.
He's not, and, you know, it's like, I don't think people realize you've been away from your wife so many years. Like, I don't know if either one can be like, whoa.
All of a sudden, you're home all day, every day.
I'm a member of Victoria Club, and it's so funny. It's like all the old dudes will be like, they'll play golf every day, and then they'll sit in the club, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna go home. They're like, oh, shoot, it's only 3. Like, my wife's gonna be upset that I'm getting here early. They're gonna be like, what are you doing home so early?
Get out of here. Go
back to the club.
Yeah.
You
know.
So, 71, my dad starts at Kluk fresh out of high school. Works on the roof. My grandpa's pushing him to be a salesman. You know, he's always said it. My dad tells the story a million times, but he tells my dad that, you know, you're going to make more money pushing a pencil than you are up here on the roof. So teaches them how to sell. My dad works there at Kluk for about 20 years, so 71 to 91. My uncle was also involved in the business. Being family, my dad was kind of figuring that, you know, hey, his brother-in-law most likely will get the business.
Yeah.
So my dad said, you know what, I'm going to go off and start Veirs Roofing. So he does. 1991, goes out and starts Veirs Roofing. So 2006 rolls around, my uncle is going to wants to get rid of Kluk Roofing. So obviously my dad's sitting here saying, well, I spent 20 years of my life at there. That's an important thing. My mom, it's my mom's last name, maiden name. So they bought it from my uncle in 2006, and then we combined. That's when they combined the names. So that's why it looks kind of, people go, what's Veirs? Why is there 2 names? And so we have to tell the story. And so that's when it got combined. And so fast forwarding to today, here we are.
Now you're here. Chad, how long you been doing it?
So I got into this, now it's been about 7 years.
Yeah.
So I was actually into it last time you and I had met and talked. So I was actually into it, and I was doing more of the commercial side. So I got into it after leaving the real estate investing thing, and I went to take over a family business. And then when I left there, I was kind of in limbo. And then I went and worked with a buddy of mine in a commercial roofing, and he taught me the trade. Yeah. So that was really good. That was a good time to learn the trade. So I learned the commercial side of things. And then I left there about 3.5 years ago or so, and I went and worked for a company in Orange County, a big commercial roofing company too. And both are good-sized commercial companies. So I went and did that, and it was great. I mean, both were just fantastic companies that I worked with and learned a lot. We had talks of this. Obviously, I knew I wanted to do my own gig. You know, I mean, I needed to do my own and kind of mark my own way there. You know, and I married his sister. You know, and that's how I got into the family. I don't know if, you know, my father-in-law was too excited that I was a roofer also, you know, coming into the business. But, you know, there was a time that I was just going to go off and do my own thing and figure that out. And then when Mark was thinking about retiring, the stroke happened. Jordan and I talked, and he wanted to jump into it. So he's been cranking away for a little while now, learning his ropes and getting that going. And then, honestly, it was just something that I prayed about a lot, and I came back to him, and I said, hey, man, what if I jump in with you guys now and we combine our knowledge? So I came over to Veirs only 2 months ago, month and a half, 2 months ago, to take this, you know, him and I to combine our knowledge and then our growth and try to take this thing to another level. So, I mean, to answer your question, it's been about 7 years of doing multiple things. I think that's the thing is people
don't realize it's the beginning phases.
Yeah.
To get the momentum for a company to start, and if a company can get past 5 years, then 10 years, like those
all
are
those
like
milestones.
Those are like the hard point. Like momentum is so tough. So it's like after you get the momentum going, it's so hard to like walk away from something. You know, that's what we see in our space in real estate. A lot of people are like, dude, why doesn't that old guy retire? It's like, why? He literally has been here for 35, 40 years. He doesn't work anymore. Someone calls him that he sold his house to 20 years ago. Like, hey, I'm ready to sell. Like, they don't work really anymore. I don't think that's the momentum part. It's so hard to get, and that's why people fail. Because in the beginning, you're trying to figure out systems.
It's ridiculous.
How do you market? How do we get our name out there? How do we compete against other people in the market space? Build up credibility. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah,
no, it is,
fun.
and with Mark, not to cut you off there, but with Mark having so much experience, I mean, so many of the phone calls that we get, he roofed their house 30 years ago, and then he roofed the kid's house, and now we're roofing the grandkids' house or whatever it is, and all they know is Veirs Kluk Roofing, or
they only know one
they
name.
only know Mark, and it's still the same phone number.
Yeah,
we still have actually both the Kluk phone number and the Veirs phone number. The only thing he couldn't save was the original license because he couldn't transfer it, so he had to get his.
Yeah, the original license was 160809, and if you talk to contractors, it's like, whoa,
that's
160.
Yeah.
When someone in real estate has 00, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then if someone has a 2 now, you're like, oh, they're newbie.
Yeah, newbie.
Like,
ain't
look,
got
I'm
nothing.
right in the middle. I have a 1, so I'm like not super new anymore, but like
you
when
got
I
some
see
credit?
2, I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is gonna be a hard one.
Yeah, it's
They're
funny,
gonna have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get people that call, and it's like, you can tell, obviously, they're an older person on the phone, and it's like, well, yeah, how did you hear about us? Because that's a question that we pretty much obviously ask every phone call, and it's like, well, I got your number out of the yellow pages. And my dad's sitting there, I'm going, Jesus, yellow pages? Like, people
still advertise in the yellow pages.
They're still looking at or digging up an old phone book or
the one they still have just sitting on their counter still.
Yeah. Or like people will be on an estimate and we've done their roof already, or my dad has, or my grandpa has, and they're pulling out, an original business card that they've kept, and it's like, whoa, that's cool. It's, we don't even.
It sucks that we don't. I think that so many things that we don't like frame or like save one good one, right? Like that's one thing my old job, I never saved anything, and it really upsets me. So now I save every different design for sale sign I do.
Yeah.
So one day that could be like the transition of like, oh my God, like
put it up on
this used to be like that we thought that looked good. What the heck were we thinking? You know what I mean? So we save them now. Like I'll save one of every print we do.
That's cool.
Just so like, like in 20 years, I could be like, dude, look, I have
where
one
I started,
of every
we're at now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it sucks, because you're like, dude, this is so cool. Like,
yeah,
the
they
history.
have a card and we don't.
Exactly.
Literally. So, but going back, there's people that are like, well, this is our 3rd roof by you guys. Which is crazy.
And it's still
to
Mark.
hear,
Mark still shows up.
It's like, well, you did my roof, this many years ago, and so. But
that makes it fun though. That adds some story to everything.
100%.
So that helps. I mean, we have that family value
for sure.
Which I think a lot of people appreciate because you lose that a lot these days.
Yeah, you do. I think it's everyone wants quick, fast, cheap, and what the thing that people don't realize is like. The only thing I always make this joke. The only thing I think is cheap and good is Little Caesar Pizza. Like other than that,
man,
I tell people that all the time. Like, what else do you know that's cheap and good? I really don't know. Other than that, like, I don't know what is good.
Yeah,
that's
people
for
call, how cheap can I get a roof? And it's like, well, and I always tell them we're not the cheapest. We've been around a long time, and my dad has put a lot of roofs on.
And the crazy part is that's why you're still in business.
That's why we're still here.
What people don't realize, it's not that I'm trying to make money now. I'm trying to make money when things shift and people don't have money, and I still have to pay all my employees. And
right.
I mean,
we got families to feed
whatever
too,
think 2020 would happen. I always love that when people are like, dude, I need to make a living too.
Right.
Like I'm not doing this just for charity work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have all the insurances a roofing company
100%.
could possibly have,
geez.
and so that's another thing. There's a lot of companies that don't carry insurances or they use someone else's license, and so that's what we try to tell the customer too, is that we have all insured. I mean, every insurance you could possibly have, so everyone's protected.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not the cheapest company, and we're not the most expensive. We
stay competitive.
Sweet spot.
Yeah.
We hover in the middle, and we're fair, and we do good work, and we say what we're gonna do, and so.
One, as a company too. I mean, with the history we run, everything completely debt free.
Yeah.
As we grow and the things that we do.
Well, that's how you survive.
Well, that's how we survive, and that's how we can keep our numbers good. We don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul. We don't, we don't owe any supply houses.
Yeah.
The trucks are paid for, everything. So we do that, and we do that on purpose because I've been a part of stuff where it's not like that, and then you get in trouble.
Well, yeah.
And then you have to go gouge a little bit here. You got to take from this guy to pay this guy, and with all the material, the crate, in our industry in construction right now, and you've seen it, I'm sure, dealing with homeowners nonstop.
Well, we're doing new build projects.
New builds. I mean, material costs are through the roof, and we're very close with like all of our suppliers.
Well, and they changed so much. I mean,
just boom.
Lumber was. I mean, we did a 16 home project in Rialto last year, And I mean, from the start of the project, what drywall and wood was costing us to what it was at the end.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
Was crazy,
astronomical.
You know, and trying to find people to work and whatever. Like, you know, it was sucked. And it's so funny. We were doing some scenarios and whatever, and people were upset at the developer. But I'm like, now we're building 34 houses here in Riverside. No one cares if the market's tanking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it'll feel bad for you when the thing goes the other way.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So you went from, you know, you were, how long were you a paramedic for?
So I was a paramedic. I got my license in 2006. I was obviously an EMT before that.
What EMT school did you go to?
So I went to RCC.
What year?
I was 2002.
I went 06.
2003, I think. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Randy Nugent and Britta Myron.
Who was the main guy that was like the main guy?
You know,
he was like when I was there.
Randy Nugent, fire like a Cal Fire.
Oh, okay.
He's a captain, I think.
Yeah, we had like a short, stockier guy when I was there. Was like the main dude. Yeah. In 06.
I think, and then so I did that and worked on the ambulance. And so I was I did my EMT school actually when I was a senior in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was kind of funny because I couldn't apply to EMT school. I didn't, you know, being in high school.
Yeah.
So the whole deal was, you know, I called in and they said, well, what do you mean I can't apply? Well, what you have to do is come in. If people don't show up, we're going to draw your name out of a hat.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I'm like, okay, worth a shot.
Yeah.
Saturday, you know, it's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I went down there on a Saturday. 2 people didn't show up. 2 spots.
Yeah.
Well, one of my names in the drawing.
There it is.
Here I am, you know.
Yeah.
I was, you know, 18 years old, but I couldn't still apply to you know, do the RCC stuff. So, you know, one of the youngest kids in the class.
Yeah.
Didn't know much, but, you know, here I am in high school reading my EMT book.
What school did you go to? What high school?
Poly, Riverside
okay.
Poly.
Yeah. You're a Riverside guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What high school
I went
did
to
you go
Woodcrest.
Woodcrest.
That's where I graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So reading my EMT book and studying and doing all that, and then literally I graduated high school, and then in June, and I started working for Doctor's Ambulance in August. So I was 2 months out of high school and jammed over there, and then got my hours needed for paramedic school. I was 20 and applied, and I just turned 21 when I graduated paramedic school.
Yeah.
So there was another guy that was younger than me, but we were the 2 youngest in the class.
How was that shift going from that to roofing?
Well, so I also own, and I still do, a CPR training company in Riverside.
Oh, okay.
I've had it
Which
since,
I think everyone should know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that should be like a class.
Standard.
A standard class, graduate high school.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, that is just basic. I mean, I went to EM school and never used it because of other things. But, like, just basic life-saving things everyone should know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like CPR, Heimlich. Like, if you're bleeding, put
first aid.
pressure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, just general.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to deliver a baby or anything,
Yeah,
but
right.
like, you know, or
Just
save a
basic,
life. I'm not
basic.
asking
Yeah.
you to intubate someone, but
Right.
like, can we have
Right.
general knowledge from that? Balance a checkbook and know what credit means, and we'd be straight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you're right.
Nothing you learned in high school.
Nothing you learned in high
None of that
school.
you learned in high school.
Yeah. So I opened that business in 2010. It's called Lifelink CPR Training.
Is that a big demand in Riverside?
You know what? It's been good.
Yeah.
We've gotten into a lot of the hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've trained a lot of people. My wife worked at the hospital, so we, you know, got a lot of them at Riverside Community Hospital and Loma Linda. We do a lot of Loma Linda.
Yeah.
And you know, you have schools that are calling, hey, we need training, and then you have businesses that are calling because
of
they want
HR reasons and stuff.
They want all the guys trained, or at least a foreman trained, or someone
Mm-hmm.
that runs the yard, or however they put it together. But so I've had that since 2010. I still have it. What I did recently was combine my CPR training company with the roofing company.
Okay.
So that's been a little bit of a rough adjustment.
Yeah.
You know, because I had an office off Indiana in Brockton. And so that's where everyone knew me for like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're not off Indiana.
So now people are knocking on the door and they're like, that's not here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I showed up at the other office, but no one's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you know, because we're not there.
Yeah.
So I combined those two, and then that was in 2020 that I really hit it kind of hard into the roofing company. You know, I mean, we would go out every once in a while with my dad, and you know, summer breaks, and my brothers could tell you too that here we are up on the roof. And, you know, I have a scar on my leg, and my dad will laugh at this because, you know, he wakes me up one summer to go tear off a roof. Okay. Because that was kind of our, you know, that's what we do. And so we're up on the roof and standing there, and we're, you know, hitting the shovels into the roof to take off this cap sheet. And it was actually at St. Catherine's School. That's where I went to elementary school. And well, the shovel bounces off the roof right into my leg. Oh. Right. Whoa. So, but I don't feel a thing. I'm just sitting there. I don't feel it. It didn't hurt, nothing, you know. And so my dad looks down. It's like, oh my God, you know, your leg, your shoe's full of blood. You know, so off to urgent care we go, and then we get stitches.
And that's how you want to be a paramedic at that moment.
Yeah, there you got that.
So, but you know, so you know, my reward for that was my dad bought me a new boogie board.
No, that's awesome.
You know, so that all worked out. But yeah, so medical I always kind of had too, because my grandpa Kluk also owned. I know this is kind of, but he also owned Kluk and Morgan Ambulance. Okay. In Orange. So him and his brother actually started a ambulance company, and that was also in the time just before Kluk Roofing, you know, took place. But so they had an ambulance company. And my grandpa wanted to get out of it. Was just tired of seeing the you know, the stuff that you see in the medical field.
Well,
and
it's
the trauma.
rough, man. It's hard. You know, it's like you know, I went to school. I was gonna be a paramedic firefighter. That was like the plan. Right. And then it's just like, you know, the things that you see. Right. Like it jades you. Yeah. Like it's impossible not to. You know, like, you know, my girlfriend's in the hospital right now, and you know, going there every day and seeing the same people. Yeah. You know, hearing the same stories. And then the sad part about it is, like, the older lady next to us, like 92, hasn't gotten one visitor. Yeah. Right. You know. Yeah. Right. So I was like, you know what, this lady needs flowers. We go buy her flowers.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean? But like, the nurse has to come here and hear this lady, like, no one's come visit her. Yeah. Like, that's heartbreaking. You know what I mean? She's saying she's gonna die, and like. Yeah. You know, it's like that like it has to.
Yeah, it does. If you have any emotion,
No, exactly. If you have any emotion, it's like a roof don't feel nothing. You know what I mean? So do you guys, you know, Chad, you were talking about commercial. I mean, obviously you guys do both, but if you had to pick one, which one do you like more?
For me, it's tough because I don't have much experience into the commercial side. Yeah. You know, I mean, obviously we're going that direction and into the type of roofing that Chad comes from, I should say. You know, we've done commercial roofs. Yeah, we, you know, have done torch down roofs. You know, my dad went to school for it, you know, doing torch down roofs, which you wouldn't think there's a school for roofers. But there is a roofing. 100% there has to be. A torch school that I went to.
I'm surprised your grandpa didn't start one.
Right.
That would have been a good move. Yeah. That would have been a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, okay, we're going to save your life, and we're going to teach you how to do a roof, and then if someone falls, we're going to teach you how to save their life at the same time. Yeah. And then our ambulance is going to pick you up. So only call this ambulance. Yeah. We got a monopoly going right now.
That's right.
Yeah. And, you know, let's start an insurance company, and then...
Yeah, right.
Well, you like apartments.
Yeah.
Which goes into both almost.
Yeah. Like the TPO stuff, which Chad specializes in, the coding stuff, which, you know, that's where he comes from, and... But, you know, I've done a lot of research in roofing, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and, you know, that's kind of where, you know, you look at these jobs and go, man, that's really cool. You know, these big jobs. Yeah. I mean, you know, you look at these buildings going up and...
Well, those are just different worlds. You know, like an Amazon, that's 1 million square feet, is different than doing an apartment complex or different than doing a single-family home.
You see the ones that are building off the 215 over by the base. I'm like, dude, these are so massive.
Oh, yeah. So the company I came from before, we roofed most of those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably 90% of those.
I'm like, dude, I heard one sold the other day for like $200 million. It's like, and they're just frames. You still got to go in there and...
It's just a box.
Yeah, and you guys still go in and do everything.
Yeah. Nice.
Like, if you're spending $200 million and still have to probably go spend another $20 million on the inside.
I've seen companies, and I won't name the companies, but that have put over $100 million on the inside.
It's crazy.
After they spend $100 million on the outside. Dude, you know,
I think that's the interesting part that I try to tell a lot of people. I just got done reading a book called Tribe of Millionaires, and basically the book is, you know, who you surround yourself with, whatever. And I'm like, I sent it to these two guys that are in real estate that I think they really need to like hear it because I try to tell them, like, who are you surrounded? Who are you talking
100%,
to? Right? And you were talking, I was like, the thing that sucks about Riverside, it's so insulated. A lot of people don't realize like what else is out there.
Yeah.
We're such a big town, you don't really need to leave Riverside.
Yeah.
And then like people think like, oh, this person's crushing it. I'm like, dude, there's people that do 10, 20, 30, $1 billion a year in sales. Like one company does $1 billion in sales. Like you don't even know how to fathom it because you're not interacting with those people. Yeah. And so it's like you said, like $100 million.
Yeah.
Just the inside plus another $100 million. It's like $200 million.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, what's $1 million?
Yeah.
$200 million?
I mean, the roof alone sometimes is $10 million.
So when working with like working with corporations versus working with a homeowner, which one do you like more on the sales side of it?
I would say, I mean, with that, the nice part about home ownership is you can meet that person face to face,
and you can have build a relationship.
You can build a relationship, and you have a heart for them in that, and because and you especially, and then me coming from some real estate stuff in the investing side and having property was dealing with contractors could be a pain in the butt. You know?
That's why I only have one.
And you don't trust them, and so I've dealt with that. I had properties in Missouri and just taking to the cleaners multiple times. From contractors.
I won't buy out. I have a duplex we're flipping right now, and the only reason I bought it because my best friend lives there. Yeah, because he had the same thing happen.
He can manage it.
He lived here, bought some stuff out in Alabama. A guy was sending him photos. The dude dipped on him.
Yep.
And he wasn't even didn't even finish the project. Now the subcontractors are calling him, hey, where's our paychecks? Like, what are you talking about? I already paid Johnny. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
And now he's having to fly back. That money's gone. You know, because they're just shady.
No, they are. And so that's where I like that aspect because we can change that game and be that for somebody, and they can trust again. Yeah. So because being abused on that side, you know 100%. How to fix it. And then the commercial side's good too. It's just different numbers.
It's all numbers.
It's all numbers, and
price per square foot,
and that's always bottom dollar, and it gets a little tougher. But I understand that game very well too, and I understand it's investments on their side. Mm-hmm. They need to get it done at a certain cost, But you're going through when you're doing commercial jobs. You're going through whether sometimes be GCs, and then they're going through a million people, this person to get to this person, and so it's a different game.
But you don't even know who you're talking to.
Yeah, but I love building those relationships too, like with developers. I know some great developers that became friends that you got appreciation for both sides.
And their work, I think that's the thing. People always go like, "Oh, it must be nice to have developers." I'm like, dude, they're a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
ridiculous.
A
lot of work.
It's ridiculous.
I was like, dude, it is 24/7. It is all year long, not just when the house goes up. No, I'm involved in what the plans, what we're looking at. What do you think about this floor plan? Hey, what about this? What about what's going on in the market? Dude, we're like 6 months out. So what's going on with the market? Where do you think the market's going? And the pressure of like being right, and having to tell them, dude, listen, I know we said these numbers before, those numbers. I think that's the thing that people don't realize. It's like when you start playing with the big boys, you got to be.
The stress level goes up, definitely.
And you got to have the cojones to tell them the truth. Hey, listen, because if you don't tell the truth, then it's going to cost them tons of money, and then they're going to be pissed in the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't realize. Probably when you're going dude, I'm sorry, I got to do this. We got to do this for $10 million.
Yeah.
It's not 7, it's 10.
Yeah. Well, people they're not upfront with them.
Exactly.
Or you think that you're telling them what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go get that change order, and they're like, I just talked to you 10 days ago, and we were still good. Now 10 days later, you're hitting me with this when let's say I knew 20 days ago. It's like, why didn't you tell me 20 days ago? So it's a game, but you have to pay attention to all aspects because time is money on those big jobs, and there's due dates. That opening date, or for you guys when you're developing these new houses, that door's got to be ready to sell as soon as possible.
Especially in the market you're going right now, the quicker, the sooner the later.
1 month can cost you the whole deal.
Dude, 1 month can cost you money. You know what I mean? And then it's times 34 or times whatever the number is.
Yeah.
So then that's the hard part for us too is luckily I don't have to deal with, I'm not involved in the developing part of it, but I'm the one also hearing the problems of the
They're still coming to you for it all.
Hey, listen, we don't have, we had, in 2020, was it? We had those houses, or 2021? We didn't have enough stoves because of back orders.
Oh,
so we would have to, we'd have an appraiser come to the house. appraise it with that stove. We'd take that stove out of the house and put it in another house. Sometimes it would be the same appraiser. So we're like, yo, listen, I'm gonna need you.
Same stove.
I'm gonna need you to turn your back for a minute.
Yeah,
pull
close
that
your eyes,
stove
buddy.
out, go to the other one, put it in. Take it, pull it out, go to the other one. Because it was like, dude, we had to get it. Like, even we're like, they're coming next week, and then next week will come. They're coming next week.
Yeah.
I think. Did you guys have a big, or are you still feeling it? Like supply chain issues still?
No, we're getting all the material increases, and that's the hardest part, right? I mean, you're bidding a job, and before you could put on a proposal that this proposal's good for, let's just say 30 days, right? Yeah. And now you're bidding a job, and you're saying this proposal's good for 5 days. Mm-hmm. Because we luckily we get some kind of a warning on when our material's going to go up, but I mean, I can't tell you how many 10%, 7%, increases.
In 10%, people don't realize 10%.
Yeah,
that might be your whole margin.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right, and luckily though, the wholesalers that we work with really help us, as a business.
Yeah.
Because they're saying, well, if we have the material, you have the job sold, let's reserve that for you.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll lock it in at that price that will miss the 10%. We try to obviously. That's what we tell our customers. Hey, we're willing to try to do this, and let's see if the material's there. That's our first problem.
Yeah.
Is it in the yard? Is it in stock? So we can reserve it.
But shingles didn't hit the shortage like some of the other material, like commercial material, like single ply, hit 10-month shortages. And that, and like what Jordan was saying, with those 10% price increases, and in that aspect, they're going up 10% sometimes a month, 10% a quarter. Constant, and you can't even lock in pricing at all.
Yeah.
So commercial, you have to be very careful. And like, let's say for some of your clients or might be getting in the commercial game or doing that, no contractor in the entire industry can lock in pricing for commercial roofing.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
Because it just fluctuates.
It fluctuates so much. Now how they do it is if you bid a job and let's say you get the job, let's just say it's $100,000 today, but it's not going to ship for 10 months. Well, it could be $500,000 in 10 months, but that's what you're going to pay, and they won't even give you the price. So it becomes very difficult for owners, which we understand very well. So I try to help them at least budget that as much as possible, to understand that. But supply chain issues, the nice thing with shingles and tile hasn't been
really
hit. And I think, I mean, let's be honest with the materials, with these massive buildings going up so fast. I mean, these GCs are popping these buildings up, from the time they break ground, probably 6 months, 4 to 6 months, this thing's up, and then they're taking a lot of material too.
Yeah. And
then obviously having the issues at port and stuff like that.
Well, it's like, I remember hearing a story, I think it was 2020, it was like, we have the product, we don't have the cardboard boxes.
Yeah,
to
they
ship
went
them,
through that.
Because Amazon bought up all the cardboard boxes. I remember I was buying, I'm still really into it. I was really into mountain biking. He's like, we have your product sitting here. We can't ship it because we don't have a box to put it in.
Yeah.
Put a label on the
I said, I need that now. Tape that bad boy up, throw it on, and then and he goes,
put some bubble wrap on that thing.
Bubble wrap on it, and be good to go. I don't even care at this point.
Pick it up.
I'll literally one time I called her like, it's in Long Beach. I'm like, I'll come now. It's like it's on a ship still. Like
which ship?
Yeah,
which container?
That was another. Did you guys fight an issue with now with everything that's going on crazy with this, and now with work? Finding people to do the jobs?
Man, that's been one of our biggest struggles, is just finding, because obviously, we want to find good people.
Yeah.
Anyone that comes in, we're saying, well, this is a job that you can have a career out of here. We want to make that right. We pay our guys really good.
Yeah.
When you come in to start at our company, it's good pay.
Is it hourly base or salary base?
It's hourly base.
Uh-huh.
And so when when people call and they say, hey, are you guys hiring? Yes, absolutely. Well, what do you pay? This much an hour. Oh my gosh, really? Really? That's how much you pay? Yeah, that's how much we pay, and pay can always go up depending on your skills. If you show that you're worth it, then we'll pay you more.
I think that's the problem with right now with paying with money.
Yeah.
I get it, whatever, but it's like, I'm sorry, like if $15 or $17 is a McDonald's that takes no skills, what is a skillful job?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like the barrier of the bottom is too high.
It's too high. It is going way too high, and you can't keep up with it.
That's too high where it's like, okay, so I can sit in McDonald's and not think, or I can work hard and only make blank more dollars. It's like, I'm just going to go.
And not many are motivated to do that, thinking of the long term.
The long term, because they just think now.
Yep.
You know, and that's the problem. It's like it's like the bottom is so high now.
Yeah.
Like it's just unbelievable. You know, and that's the thing I try to tell people. When the bottom's at low, then I got to pay my guys more. Then the material retail goes up, and then I got to charge you more. Like it's just.
It gets passed. The buck gets passed, no
Yeah,
matter how you want to approach it.
And the funny thing, I'm the owner. I'm not making really more money.
No, you're not making any more.
No,
You're
I'm
just
not
trying to
making
survive.
I'm just surviving. Like, so, like right now, everyone's like, it's funny. We went from in real estate. We went from like, I don't know if it's happened to you guys, but we went from like, you must be so lucky to be a realtor, to now, how are you doing? That was like,
are you okay, buddy?
Hey, listen, if you need to, if you need some help,
borrow a dollar or
like,
two.
you need to borrow a little bit of cat, a little scratch. I'm like, what? How do I went from literally 6 months ago, like, oh man, must be nice to be a realtor. I love to be a realtor. That's the only thing I'm happy with this market slowdown. I'm like, no one can ask me. Like,
people just don't get it.
You're like, are you okay? Like, I'm like, listen, you see me on the corner with a sign yet? No, we're all right then. You know what I mean? But it's true. Like, you're not making. Like, I didn't make tons more money in 20 to 2021 because everything went up more in cost. Like,
it had to.
It had to.
Yeah.
People don't. They just don't see that.
They don't process it.
And they don't process it.
Yeah,
and
then we have a garage full of cash. I mean,
we're just loaded.
We're in the same boat.
Or everyone thinks you can store material. You talk to them. Oh, can you just store this? Can you do this? And like, what do you think? I got 12 acres.
Storing takes space.
Yes.
Which space costs money.
Costs money.
Yeah.
Plus
Double
the insurance on that. Plus someone to manage where the products is. And then the system to see what we have in stock.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people realize staff in buildings are the two most expensive overhead. If I didn't have this office and no staff, I wouldn't be able to do this because I'm an idiot.
Right.
But my bills would be cut in of 1/4 I'd be paying right now.
Yeah.
It's building and staff are the most important, most expensive.
But you understand the numbers, so you know how to do it, and you can work through it as things goes up. We have to plan for it. That again goes back to not having that debt.
Exactly.
And being very careful on the moves that you make because it's not going to get any easier.
100%.
I mean, it's getting tougher.
It's gonna get hard.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which is okay for those that want to, plan for it and can handle it.
Well, I'm excited
push through it.
I'm excited for this. I was so frustrated that anyone was winning. It's like I want people.
Yes.
I want it to be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I want people to have to look towards an expert. I want people to literally. I want you to be let down by that person, so then you come to me. Yeah. That's what I want. I want that person to lie to you, say they can sell your house for 10% more than you really can, and then the house sits on the market, and then you come to me.
Sits on the market for 60 days, and then by that time you're done. It is what it is. Yeah.
So for you, like right now, like what is your main? Are you you're the sales job?
Yeah,
operations?
sales. We go out and
we're kind of both the same to an extent. Dealing with that.
So
side.
operations,
everything. Taking care of the guys. Getting the material, going out and doing estimates, which I enjoy that portion of it too, meeting the people, and you kind of talked about that earlier, but. The customers, you hear their story.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot of cool stories too.
There's some interesting people
you can
out
get
there.
wrapped up in some
The
people.
problem is sometimes you look down at your watch and it's been 2 hours. You're like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like
you don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
My dad's a talker.
He gets locked in.
He gets locked in. And he loves it. So
it's fun though.
It's cool. It's cool to hear. And he always goes, God, I know these guys are gonna get sick of my story, but here it goes.
But people want to know his story too. A lot of people work with because you don't see that many businesses like that.
What's the shift been? Because you said you weren't happy. Your dad wasn't happy the direction the company was going. Was it operation wise, or was it just?
He wasn't happy. I just think the guy's 70 years old.
Yeah. He's
worked on a roof since he.
Is he still going on? He's not going on roofs.
He's not on.
I was gonna say.
No, but just still involved in crunching some numbers on some jobs. A lot of the customers just know Mark.
Yeah.
Know my mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, they've been in Riverside. They grew up here.
Yeah.
For the most part, they went to school here, and a lot of the people know them. And
do you feel like Riverside's a hard town to break into?
Break into or out of?
You mean meaning both honestly.
Yeah.
But I think meaning like in my space, like people that dominate like Murrieta, Temecula. I always laugh at them. I'm like, cool, and they're like, why? And I'm like, dude, I got people in my town that are generational realtors.
Yeah.
They're realtors. Their parents are realtors. Their grandparents were realtors. Yeah. They've been selling real estate in Riverside, their family, for like 80 years. Right. Temecula wasn't even a town 30 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I have a buddy I had in here last week. He dominates Eastville. I was like, I remember when I was a kid, it was Norco, Ontario. Eastville wasn't a
thing. Yeah, it was dirt.
So it's easy to, you're not competing against name, like brand, like you said, like everyone knows your parents. Like,
yeah.
So, and then no one ever leaves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Or
like
they
you
leave
get
and they come back.
They come back.
Yeah, I've left
know.
Riverside 3 times, and I didn't think I'd come back. I went from
You
Orange
come
County,
back.
and then I'm back here now again. I was just telling them that the other day.
You always come back. It's like it just sucks. It's like
boom.
it's like a planet. You just slowly start getting pulled back in.
One of like the biggest things, like out of high school, what did everyone want to do? I want to move to Orange County.
Yeah.
So off to Orange County they go. They get their place. They're there for, 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, and back to Riverside.
Back to Riverside they go.
Which it's a great town, obviously.
I think Riverside's like the perfect balance, like price per living and areas. You know, like the one thing that does suck about Riverside and I think why people don't leave is like if you're selling and going down, where do you go? You move out of state. You don't really go. You don't sell in Riverside, Moreno Valley, or Banning. Like you don't really go any farther east.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're all, like, you know what I mean. If you currently live in Orange Crest or Canyon Crest or the Wood Streets or whatever, it's like where do you downsize to go? You're not like LA.
You gotta go out of state. Yeah.
You could downsize, go to Orange County, like to a cheaper part, but you're not going. No one sells Riverside to Moval.
Yeah.
No one does that.
They sell Moval and come to Riverside and then work their way.
No one goes east unless you sell them Palm Springs. Like that's the only Palm Springs.
That's its own world out there, though. You're just doing your thing out there.
Go out there, dude. That's a whole little thing that I think it's the heat that gets people crazy out there.
That's actually where I first worked as a paramedic was Palm Springs.
Oh, that's right. Really?
That's right.
So you're just picking people.
I went through my internship.
That's got to be a rough spot to work.
I can't say I love the desert.
Yeah.
Like I like the desert. The mornings are cool. Yeah. The evenings are great. The middle of the day when it's August or whatever is crap.
Yeah.
But the desert's beautiful.
So what area are you guys? Obviously you're in Riverside, but what other areas do you guys? All the Inland Empire.
So
do you
right
go to
now,
Orange County? Do you go to the desert?
Yeah. No, I mean right now, obviously. Well, I'd probably say 80% is IE, taking that. We just left some stuff out in Huntington Beach, branching out that way. Can go into, we go anywhere, to be honest. We have the cruising and the capability to go to anywhere. Everything's got to make sense, obviously,
That's the problem with people. It's like you go farther, it costs you more money.
It's got to make sense
to get there.
Right.
And I'm upfront with some of the owners, like, hey, I know that game too, and I'm like, this is what it's going to be for me to do it. Yeah. You might be able to find it. I could probably lead you to someone that could get it done too and save you some money on that aspect. It's got to make sense. I'm not a big LA guy.
Yeah.
Doing business out there gets very difficult in some aspects.
Is our personalities, you think, too different from the people out there, or is it just more competitive?
No, it's not even that the competitive. Crowded. It's more harder, I should say, to do with dealing with the cities. Because pulling permits and having to block streets or do this and this, and you're under a fine-tooth comb at all aspects. Yeah. Which is not like you're doing anything wrong. It just makes everything more difficult. Yeah. Where I can come into Riverside, I can pull a permit in 20 minutes. I've sat out. I've dealt with LA, and I've had to go back 4 or 5 times with stuff that makes absolutely no sense.
And they wonder why everything costs so much out there.
And they don't even know what they're talking about to an extent. But yet I have to go back and forth with nothing.
That's why I always tell people every time they want to try to do affordable housing in LA and out there, and they're like, "Oh, it's so expensive." I'm like, "Yeah, because it's taking them 4 or 5 times longer with the city and permits and going back and forth. And when you're sitting on stuff, you're paying people, even if you're not moving.
Right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. Like if you're just waiting, you're still paying.
Yeah,
you don't get to.
It doesn't.
You
just
don't
stop.
get to pause. You don't pause the clock. Like, listen, we're waiting for a permit. So you're not getting paid for the next 2 weeks.
No, people are still getting paid. So no, we do that, man. Going to San Diego. I live in Murrieta.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at stuff out there too, and getting a part of some associations and stuff like that. Just to become their vendors to handle things like that for apartments and stuff like that. That's really a specialty that I like, and I know he likes apartments too.
Well, they're just bigger projects.
They're bigger projects, which make it more fun. They're a little more, you get the jobs that are 1 dayers, 2 dayers that are easy, but then it's also nice to do some more custom kind of stuff and get some better.
I always tell them, those pay the books, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but then
it's all relative.
Then you pop 2-3 big ones, and I tell people all the time, they're like, how do you? And I'm like, dude, honestly, it's like 3 months a year I make good money. The rest I'm paying the bills, maybe a little bit extra, little cash.
Exactly.
Just kind of getting those projects, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have 2-3 big projects or 5-6 big houses or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The roofing's stressful.
I bet.
I
wouldn't even want to think about wintertime.
I
wouldn't even want to think about rain season.
That's what we're battling right now.
Well, you see these, with monsoon weather in August right now, we're tearing off an apartment. It's like we're texting each other. Did you see that? You look at the radar. Did you see that? Oh, Jesus, here we go. 30 minutes ago we didn't see anything. Turn this thing off, and now all of a sudden he's over at Home Depot. I'm gonna get me some plastic. I gotta go out there, and I'm like,
gorilla tape.
Man,
you're ready for this.
Here we go.
Boy,
And can you imagine working out outside of Southern California? Like, I mean, my old job, I travel a lot, and people don't realize what rain is. Like, you're in when you're in the South,
rain, hail,
when
all
you're in
that.
New Orleans in the middle of the summer, and every day at 4:00, it is a strict downpour for 2 hours, and then it's humid as shit after that. People do not really. When California's like, it's raining hard out here, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
go
it's
to
a
the
drizzle,
South.
buddy.
Yeah.
Go to Texas, go to the South. You're gonna go see real rain. I don't even know how roofers do it out there. Like, holy crap.
I don't know, to be honest. Yeah, we're stressing here, and we don't even get that much.
I know.
You know, and it's like, but yeah. So yesterday, that was our deal. Yesterday, looking at the radar, I'm following the radar. I'm texting Chad. He's sending me pictures. Texting our foreman, Vicente.
Everybody's on edge all night long. You
I'm
don't
ready,
sleep.
Just let me know. So we're watching this cell move across the radar, and here's our Salmon. Here's our apartment complex. Got some felt down on it, not dried in all the way. Got AC units, and it's like, oh man, here it comes. And I'm like,
it's not a vacant house, I mean, you got tenants all over there just thinking, oh god.
Then all of a sudden the radar thing just disappears.
Gone.
Yeah, it's gone. So you just don't even know.
Damn, okay, you just gave me a little mini heart attack, but it's gone now.
It was before I did this, I was a professional umpire, so we would be like in Memphis and stuff like that, and it would be so funny when storms are in the area. The GM, because before the game, the GM decides if we start or not. During the game, it's my decision at the time. So the GM would come in, especially if it was a new GM. What should we do? There's rain in the area. I don't want to. Because they get pissed. Because if you start a game and then you bang it in the first inning, that's a 30-minute wait. That starting pitcher's done, and everyone's pissed off at you.
Oh,
so you got the pissed off of the teams. Then it's like sold out crowd. You got the GM would come in and be like, "What should we do?" I'm like, "Ain't my job." Like, and I was like,
is that like Major League? I mean, is that?
I got all the way up to AAA, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would travel around for 10 years.
Man, so you kind of
10
did
years.
yourself
That's good, man.
a lot of different things, huh?
Yeah. You know what? I always tell people I never went to college other than RCC, and I always tell people I got an umpiring at 19. I was like never left home before, and next thing I know I'm getting a call at 6 in the morning, and they're like, "You said roofing school? There's an umpire school, multiple.
Yeah.
Who would ever think that,
Yeah.
And I get a call at 6 in the morning. Hey, we're gonna need you in Arizona tomorrow. Like, it's go time. And I'm like, okay. I'm like packing. I've never left home before. Like, I had no idea what. Like, you're gonna go live in a hotel for 3 months.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, here's the address. Get there. And this is like, what year was this? 2007. So like, we had the internet, but it wasn't like we still had GPS like on the map. And then we had guys. We had Tom-Doms. We had guys still using books, like
Thomas Guide.
They'd be in like the Midwest, and we'd be going from like Burlington, Iowa, all over to Michigan. They're using a book. I'm like, dude, buy a freaking GPS. You know what I mean? Like, and then I remember we got the first iPhone came out, and like, okay, cool, we got direction, but if you missed a turn, you'd have to like unload it to reload it because it wouldn't read. Like,
I remember that.
See, that's the craziest thing I always think about our parents and definitely our grandparents is like the shift in technology that they have seen.
Yeah.
Going from like, dude, you're going from like nothing to now where we're at today. Like, holy crap! Like, it's interesting to see what we'll be when we're 70 or 80. Are we gonna still see a massive increase in change, or we're just kind of maybe flattening out?
Yeah, you open my dad's desk. He has a Thomas book. And so it's like we're mapping out estimates, and he's in his Thomas book, and he's flipping, and it's like,
and we're just like, here,
buddy.
Let's go. We're out of here.
So, but it's funny.
And then he's like, email? How do I do that?
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Sometimes we go backwards, because like we'll have older clients that don't have email, so everything has to be hand signed with them.
Yeah.
And then you have to go in person, sign the hand. You're like, God, dude, how the hell did they do this every time
Written
before?
We have to do
or
that
even
too.
no radar. Like you just look up in the sky and you're like, it looks like it's gonna rain.
Yeah.
Now, they sniff. It's so funny. Your dad's like, it's gonna rain today. You're like, there's nothing on the GPS.
Yeah.
Told you.
He's done that to us too, because there's something to that. When you have to learn those skills and those, your senses spark up, because he'll tell us, oh, it's gonna rain, or you're looking at this, like, no, it's not, and then all of a sudden here comes that thundercloud right over the mountain.
Dude, that's what we used a lot of when I was in the minor leagues, because like there was a lot of cities that would have like rivers, and they're like, oh no, like the locals would be like, nah, it's gonna stop, and you're like, what, dude, it's massive, like it's gonna hit the river, it's gonna stop.
Yeah.
Like Memphis is a big city. Yeah. Memphis is right on the river, so storms would come and just stop. Like we're like, what the, and they would a lot of them would never come over because the temperature it would be based off the river temperature of the water if it hit the storm or not. I'm like in New Orleans, same way. They're like, that's not coming or that's coming. Why? Oh, the temperature of the sea today is blah blah blah. That's why we know it's gonna come. I'm like,
you're like, oh yeah, of course.
It's kind of like here in Riverside. I mean, I follow this weather guy, and he did an explanation on why Riverside never gets hit with rain. I think it's because of the wind, like the air that comes over through the Cajon Pass, and looking at all this stuff. But I mean, literally, we're at jobs and you'd see the clouds moving right around Riverside. It's like, oh, thank God, it's dodging.
I really wish. I mean, obviously, now that the homeless can't live down on the riverbed, I wish the river bottom was full of water.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
It would be so cool.
I thought about that.
If that thing was completely full of water and you could take boats out there and stuff on the weekends and whatever, like
paddleboarding and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, supposedly, I mean, you still see people using it. I mean, and I didn't know that. I was actually driving with my wife and down Van Buren, crossing the bridge over there, heading towards our house into Rancho. Or driving from Riverside one day, take Van Buren. But I mean, it was a weekend. I think it was a Sunday morning or afternoon. It was an odd time, but I didn't realize people still use that as like a water park.
They do?
Yeah, I mean, I was blown away. I mean, there's people,
the kids
cars
are still down there.
I'm sure they weren't homeless.
Walking? No. Their cars parked. They're walking with their inner tubes.
Really?
Seriously?
I swear.
Jeez.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
Ask my wife. Ask Mallory. So.
Dude, that is.
But
I don't know about that.
I don't know if I'll be signing up for that.
Because there's like a waste plant.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just thinking about all the other crap
what
that's
else?
down there.
Whatever else
floats
is in that
from higher up,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that thing does go close to San Bernardino, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. I stay out of San Bernardino. I can't sell houses there. I don't know what it is about it. I don't complain, but I've never sold a house in San Bernardino.
Really?
Yeah. What about Rancho? You live there?
I just moved there this week.
Oh, this week.
Oh, it's been
this
that
week.
soon,
It's been a week, boys. It's been a week.
Okay.
We moved in.
Okay.
Me and my girl, we moved in. She got she's in the hospital. Hopefully she comes home today. She had a kidney infection. I literally had to move the whole house by myself. Yeah. I was moving until midnight last night.
Oh, jeez.
I had to unpack everything, dude. I'm like, literally, I'm like, I just went from an apartment 3 blocks from here. Now I'm living in Rancho. The house is still empty. I'm like, I feel like I'm living in a hotel. I literally wake up, go to the hospital to see her, come here, go home, shower, go to bed. Like, wake up. Go. I'm like, what are we?
Eventually, you'll be moved into your house.
Finally, hopefully.
Oh yeah, and the hospital is exhausting.
I had to fire the doctor the other day. I went off on the doctor the other day. Fired him, and
well, you have to keep up on him.
You got to light him up, man. It's funny. You light him up, and all of a sudden, like it was so funny. And I told the guys, like, it's not personal. Like, I have a job. Like, if I'm not selling someone's house, they're gonna be questioning me why the house isn't being sold.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. If my girl's sick, and she's not getting better, I'm going to question you on why she's not getting better. That's your job. And if you can't answer my questions, you got to go.
Find someone that can.
You got to get someone you can.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that people, I don't mind being questioned in my job. I should have the answers for you. But also understand I can't control, like you can't control if lumber prices go up.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't control that, and I have to make a living. Just like anyone else. All my employees all want raises. Because if not, they'll go work someone else for $17 an hour. You know what I mean? Luckily, I think I'm a cool boss, but who knows?
Yeah.
So moving forward, where's the goal? So now that you guys are taking over, your dad's 70, so he'll probably be Xing a little bit. For the company, what is kind of your, 5, 10, 15-year goal to kind of move your company into, 2025, 27? And do you see a shift in, is there going to be a shift in how roofing is done, or is it more just technology just makes it a lot easier to communicate?
I think, for us, and I know we stay on the same page a lot with growing this. And, the plan is to obviously take over the Southern California space and grow to where we have multiple branches throughout Southern California in that aspect. And not only just do, apartments and residential, but also get bigger into the commercial side of things as well. I think the shift that you're going to see for us is more on, let's say, on the commercial side of it, where new construction is going to start slowing down. On the new construction, on the big box kind of stuff that you see. So, for us is to gear up and be prepared more for the re-roofs on that aspect. We want to keep that specialty. I know for me, on how I look at things with how we want to change the game. I mean, everybody's kind of leveling up. Anybody that's worth anything is leveling their way up, which is great. You know, the competition's great to have that aspect. I think
it forces people to get better.
Yeah,
and
really that's what we want. I want these guys to do good.
You want everyone to, because it forces you as a person.
Yeah.
You get comfortable, and all of a sudden, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot out there for all of us to do that, and I think, you know, we want to change the game, not only just in, let's say, the customer service, but also, you know, with that the approach that we give, whether it's the homeowner, the developer, the owners, you know, whatever it is on our reporting system that we do for people. You know, not everyone does that stuff where, you know, we'll give you before and after reports kind of thing. And that way, when you're going to go, so let's say if it's a homeowner, then, you know, most homeowners, let's say they've been there for 10 years. They don't know what the heck that roof's been on there for 20 years. It's a 30-year-old house. They have no clue.
Yeah.
But if they
don't
have,
even know how many layers are on it sometimes.
Yeah, but let's say, a homeowner inspector comes and you can just hand them the paper. Oh, here's a report that, you know, that goes with the house. You can keep that going with the house, and it has everything in there just to try to help people out.
For sure.
You know, and more so, too, want to build to where we have the, you know, great crews that have great careers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Jordan and I are so big on making sure that our guys can build careers, take care of their family, which is a hard thing to do in California.
Difficult.
Because
I don't know how people do it.
I don't know how people do it either. And I don't want to have, you know, we have, you know, our foremans. Obviously, you got the guy that's green, that's learning. He's not going to get paid as the other guys. But
which
our foremans, he shouldn't.
Yeah.
And the foremans, I want them to be able to, you know, if their wife doesn't want to have to work. So we're going to figure that out, because I want them to be able to raise the kids. And I feel like they both have to work to have a career. And, you know, trades are dying. Yeah. You know, which is funny because there's a lot of money in trades, and people don't get it.
There's a lot of people that are really, really rich who are plumbers.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We just had that conversation.
We just had that conversation.
It is
plumbers, roofers,
drywallers,
electricians.
Dude.
Because everybody thinks it's junk, but it's not.
But it's not.
It's
because
not.
I know, because I got to get bids on them. They're expensive. But here's the problem. Here's the thing: is that it's like, you know, you guys are handling something that should be expensive. Like, I always laugh about that. I love how, like,
it's your roof.
It's a roof.
Yeah.
Or your electrician, or your power, or your gas, or your plumbing. Oh, that should be cheap. But then, like, but the doctor shouldn't. Like, if it's taking care of your livelihood, aka your power, and you have water, and you don't have a leak in your roof, it should be expensive. Yeah. I'm sorry. It just should.
Yeah.
Well, people will, they'll spend $60,000 to remodel a kitchen, but their roof's 30 years old and it's shot. Well, when that starts leaking on your brand new kitchen or drywall or whatever it is, you're going to be pissed. You're going to wish that you would have put a little bit of, thought into doing that first and then doing things. So, but going back to that, hopefully we can do that. I would love for more the younger guys to come in. Yeah. Maybe not every, college isn't for everybody, especially nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I didn't either.
I actually did. RCC, I'd only go I'd get full staff, get insurance for my dad's job, and then I'd drop all the classes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
My GPA at RCC is like .001.
Yeah.
Like,
I went for 2 weeks.
They won't even let me back in.
Like we know this guy, forget it.
Are you still getting insurance through your dad's job? What the? You're 35 years old.
Yeah, I got half a class in at RCC.
I just think that's the thing, is that it's skill-based things that I think people don't realize that can actually help you in life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and when you have a trait, that trait can go anywhere with you.
Anywhere. Any state. Anywhere you want to go.
Anywhere you want to go. Yeah. Multiple opportunities. And I think that's the thing that sucks, is that what people don't understand is, like, is it hard work? Yes, hard. It should be hard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anything you do in life is going to be hard.
Yeah.
The only difference I think from some people make it look a lot easier than the other.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Like, I tell that to people all the time. Like, you see me and you see all this and you see this, but you don't know at 3:30 in the morning sometimes.
Well, you're working.
You're racking your brain.
You're racking your brain.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that people don't get, is that it's a lot of hard work. And how many people I want to start my own. How many guys have you had? I'll start my own roofing company. Come on.
They will.
Yeah,
it's just
had a couple, and then they're off now, and I wish them the best. Absolutely, you do. But yeah,
it's all the things you don't see. Like when I opened this place way too soon in my career.
Did you?
Dude, I'm an idiot. I did it just because of pride, to be honest.
You were running and gunning. You were doing.
I was running the gun.
I saw you running and gunning.
You know what I mean? I got a little cocky and arrogant. You know what I mean? But like business insurance or business license, what the hell? Why do I need a business license? And then not knowing in Downtown Riverside you pay more for your business license because you're in the historic district. I'm like, what the hell is this?
What are you talking about?
I was like, you're freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah. I was telling him I'm not cocky, just confident.
Dude, I think you have to be. and that's going back to that book, Tribe of Millionaires. You have to be around people that are confident.
Yeah.
Because everywhere you look, the world is telling you no.
They're trying to take you down.
Or they're trying to take you down.
Absolutely.
100%.
What people don't get is like, that's what people don't get, and that's why it's always love of statistics. What is the odds of a business working? It's so slim to none. So it's very difficult.
Yes.
So you better be prepared. Like real estate, 87% of agents don't make it past their first year. So if you think you're going to come in here, and the average agent does 7 deals, if you think you're going to come in here and work 2 days a week, how do you think you're not going to be part of the 87%? And how do you think you're going to make 6 figures?
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
7 deals average
7 deals.
a year.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Well, because I think in real estate, especially in hot markets, which we saw this right before the 08, and then, after, but just seeing, everyone want to run and gun and get in, well, that just means that much more competition,
100%.
right? And so if you're not willing to do what everyone else isn't, what everyone else will do, it's like, you're not going to last, man.
Yeah.
They flood in. And in ours, for some of the guys, we tell them, we'll get you up on the roof and we'll get you off the roof as fast as you want. If you want to grow that way, you want to come in, you want to do sales, you want to be a foreman, you want to run crews. Not everybody wants to do sales. Not everybody likes to do sales. That's fine.
Yeah.
So make money doing a foreman. Run more crews. Run this. We can build you on that aspect.
Yeah.
But it's all up to what they want.
I always say the more stress and responsibility you have, the more money you should make.
Exactly, 100%.
And if you have a lot of stress in your job, and you have a lot of stress in your job and a lot of responsibility, and you're not getting paid enough, then go find another job.
Go find another job.
Yeah. But if you don't want to take on more stress and more responsibilities, you shouldn't get paid more.
No.
I'm sorry.
And don't come ask me for a raise because you're not doing anything extra.
Right. That's the game. The more you guys have more stress and responsibilities on your head that no one even realizes that, like, I got to make sure that this person gets paid, because if this person don't get paid, then they don't get food on the table. And they don't get food on the table, their kids go, like, that's on me.
Yeah.
I got to go do that. You know what I mean? Like, I tell people all the time, they're like, what motivates you? I'm like, 5 employees, like paying their bills, making sure their family has food on the table.
Yeah.
I think I could speak for Chad on this too. But making sure our guys have a full week.
Yeah. Exactly.
Keeping jobs rolling. 40 hours is super important to them, and that's like, we want to make sure that they have a full, work week, full schedule.
Yeah.
No downtime. It stresses me out when we have a day off.
Yeah.
As I'm thinking, oh God, you're only going to get 32 hours this week. You got bills to pay. And
how was that during 2020? Like, obviously you were just coming into it.
Yeah.
But how long was it? Like, was there a big break on how much when you guys could do work, or?
As far as
like, because of the shutdown and not being able to work.
What did you see downtown?
We couldn't show houses for like a good month. We couldn't show any houses.
Slow down.
We couldn't do anything. We couldn't do one thing. Like, we couldn't show houses.
Yeah.
We couldn't do anything.
Were you not considered essential in the business?
No, so we were at first, but then they were like, hey, listen, for this amount of time, you got the people pyro above, like, you personally can't go show a house.
Oh.
Like, you can still be doing deals, but like, you can't go in the house. You can't do this. No one can be in the house. Like, so obviously that throws a wrench in anything. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
well, that's a big part of it.
It was like the tail end of 2020. I think is when I actually jumped in like 2 feet, full blast in. But 2021 was probably our busiest year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it's crazy. You know,
I mean? Still trying to do the whole COVID thing. I mean, we don't really honestly have to go into houses. We're still outside, but wearing your mask and doing all that stuff. And but I mean, 2021 we jammed.
Yeah. How's this year looking for you guys?
This year's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always love that too. I'm like, dude, last year could not. You couldn't have every year like your best year.
Yeah. I know. That's the hard part. Yeah.
It's going to slow down sooner or later.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, roofing, I think, slows down summer. Summer comes and kids are out of school.
So summer's your slow time?
On vacation.
I thought summer.
Commercial doing re-roofs, summertime is great because they want before the rainy season.
That's what I was thinking.
Residential is different because the kids are out of school. They want to go on vacations. They're not sure what they want to do. They want to keep the money to do little things.
I would think I thought wintertime would be slow for everyone.
December. I mean, you have Thanksgiving and then you have Christmas. It's like those obviously slow down. No, trying to get their houses ready. Families coming in. From back east to visit for
It's funny how sales in any aspect, it's like after Thanksgiving, there's maybe like 1 week, the first week of December, and then after that, like,
forget it.
You're done.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh my God, I need my roof done. I have family coming. Can you get here next week?
Yeah.
I want the house to look
I bet you guys get so many. I bet you guys get so many of those calls. Like during rain season, it's like
everybody's an emergency.
Everything's
Can you come
everybody's
out
an emergency.
today.
Yeah.
No, I wish we could. We would love to help you and service you, but you know, today ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And you knew you had a hole in your roof for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Or I told you had a hole like 6 months ago when we talked about redoing your roof, and you never called me back.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't raining yet. They kind of forgot about it.
All of a sudden, now we're talking here.
Yeah.
So my base, I like ending these things, or you know, and what advice would you give someone? Not just in roofing, but like obviously you guys have a family business that has been over the years, you know, and that's something that I don't think people put enough appreciation or realize like how hard that really is through every down market and up market and shifting technology and shifting this and shifting that. What's some advice you'd give a young business owner that could help them be successful that you see kind of day in and day out? Maybe something you see with your dad or
I don't know.
Trade or.
To me, I think a lot of people, you know, and I've even encouraged friends, you know, I've told them because, you know, I've had my other business for, you know, started in 2010, and a lot of people are scared.
They're so scared.
You know, oh my God, I can't do that.
How do you?
I can't.
How do you not have a paycheck coming in every week?
Yeah.
I said you just have to do it, man. And I said being scared's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what's gonna push you and drive you to do more work, right? You know, when I started my CP, we didn't. You know, I started with nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, I had my brother that helped me some money to upfront the costs, and I made a business plan, and that was my first person to pay back.
Yeah.
Which I did. I made every effort, you know, but it was like, was it scary? Of course.
Yeah, I threw up when I signed the lease for this place.
Yeah. I remember signing, you know, my first list.
I was like, like, oh my God, I can't believe I just signed this lease.
Life's over.
Yeah.
You know, my first lease I had for this office was like $600. Stressing me out, you know.
Yeah.
Then I went to another one, and it was like, oh my God, $1,200.
Yeah.
I just doubled. Oh my God, you know.
I remember when I took my first full-time assistant. I remember that was like, how am I gonna afford another $5,000, $6,000 a month? Like, how am I gonna do that?
Yeah. Keeps you aggressive.
You kind of figure it out.
Yeah. Be hungry.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was hungry. It's like I didn't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
I could either fail or I either make it work. Mm-hmm. Those are two options.
Yeah.
You know, and I wanted the make work option, and so hungry. You know, if I didn't have this, if I didn't start it, if I didn't move, if I didn't go out and try to put door hangers up, you know, doing all that stuff, you know. So don't be scared and dive in. And
I always say, like, what's the worst that's gonna happen?
Yeah, you just got to start
over.
What's
the worst that's...
You learn from it, too.
Exactly.
If it doesn't happen, you took it and you learn from it, and you know now what to do differently or better or however you can do it, you know?
Yeah. And I think people, too many times, they have a plan B.
Yeah.
They're always looking for the way out instead of just drive forward and just do that. And so don't look at your plan B. It's the only way. You can just go get it done, you know, and stay aggressive and be smart and watch the markets. In real estate, watch it in roofing, watch it in every trade. Pay attention to your numbers, you know, and don't, just keep making the moves forward and take care of people and actually be a man of your word because most people aren't anymore.
Yeah.
Just be a man or a woman of your word.
I felt terrible. I said I was going to call someone back last night, but then the number was here and I was already in Rancho at the hospital. I was like, God, I got to call her tomorrow. I felt so terrible. Like, we've all done that, but you know what I'm saying. But I mean, no, and I think the thing is, I think the biggest thing is you just got to be honest with people.
Be honest. That's it.
And as
man.
much as you might not be telling them what they want to hear, you just have to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to hear it one way or the other.
They're going to hear it, or they're going to hear about it later.
Yep.
There's one way to do it.
We've always said any person that's, you know, any good person would tell you the same thing that we are.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, really, you know, if they're a good company and they've been around long and we're coming in and telling you one thing, another company shouldn't be coming in and telling you any different.
Complete opposite.
I hate, you know what companies I hate? I hate termite companies.
You know?
There's some termite companies that's like $3,000 worth of work, another one comes in clear. I'm like, which one can it be?
Yeah, where's the happy medium?
Where's the happy medium?
Yeah. No, for sure. So, honesty and communication, man. You know?
Dive in and don't be scared.
Don't be scared, man.
You know?
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, man.
We appreciate
I'm so happy. How was your first podcast? Good?
That was great, brother.
Cool.
You're right.
I appreciate it, man.
I'll tell you what, man. I think more people just have. I've had my niece and nephews that are 9 and 10 in here. They love it. I've had older people in here. They love it. It's just like hey, let's just sit in a room with mics in front of us and lights and cameras on us.
Yeah,
We'll just chat.
laugh a little bit, just talk it out.
Should we invite him into our roofing podcast?
I don't know about that yet, man. He's not ready for that.
Well, and
yet.
the thing is too is like what you guys do is so like unknown. You know what I mean? Like even like I don't think people even realize like the different types of roof and which one's better.
So many
like,
different, yeah.
You know that actually I know I was trying to wrap this up, but that's actually a question I'd like to know. Like when looking at homes, which is the best roof that you like? Like if I'm showing someone a house and I'm between two houses. Cost of roof repair, which roof is the better roof to go with? Tile? Is it?
That's kind of hard, and I think it fits the style of the house, right?
Just cost. Maintenance and cost.
Yeah, you're looking at like a Spanish style house.
Yeah, you gotta have
want
tile.
a Spanish style house.
Tile's going to be more expensive than shingles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
depending what you go with, but
messier look.
I mean, you know what houses I hate? I hate what's the one that it's just like tar and then sheets.
You're talking about like a flat roof?
Yeah.
Flat roofing is what you see on these big boxes, which is hot asphalt coming out of big tanks.
Yeah.
That's a different world. But come from
I like metal
too.
roofs. Metal roofs.
Metal's cool too.
I had a client buy a metal roof house.
Standing seam.
Yeah, the only thing that sucked about it when it rained, you could you
hear
it
it
loud.
Yeah.
Especially when it really rained hard, it was extremely loud.
That's kicking off. We're seeing a lot of that in Orange County.
Oh, metal
stuff
roofs?
like that. Yeah.
Is there maintenance on that, or is it set one and done?
No, there's always some maintenance on your roofs. I mean, you said it's good. I mean, the problem is a lot of people go with that black standing seam, which gets dirty quick. And then all of a sudden your nice, black, slick-looking roof is looking gray, and then it's looking brown.
And
you
then
know,
you gotta
so you got to wash it. You got to, certain things to do. There's always some maintenance that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And most people don't do the maintenance, and then that's why it fails.
There's some real, I mean, you see it faded or the paint's chipping off.
Yeah, over time.
People take tiles and they paint them.
But a new standing seam roof looks slick.
Dude, it
looks slick for sure.
The metal roofs.
Yeah,
dude,
they look slick.
Clean. Yeah, like on a modern.
No, I love doing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
sure.
sure.
I mean, and you see we love going to Hawaii. We love Maui. And you see a lot of metal roofs, and those fit those houses. It's cool.
Yeah.
Those
I always tell people they're like, do you love real estate? I'm like, yeah, I love the job, but it'd be really cool if I was selling multi-million-dollar houses at the beach, not not 2 ones that smell like cat, but they pay the bills. So
that's right, brother. Well, I appreciate you, my man.
Yeah, anytime you guys need some roofing, these are the boys in Riverside. They've been around for a reason. I hope you guys realize the longer someone's been around, it kind of means they do a good job. It's not by accident.
Amen,
you know what I mean? So appreciate you guys. Until next time, peace.
Perfect. Thanks, brother.